to start out this evening with an associate curator here at the museum, and she's going to take you behind the scenes of what it takes to put on the exhibitions here at the museum. So please give a very warm PechaKucha and San Francisco welcome to Qamar Adamjee.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone. So I'm the one who will be talking about my day job. Many of you might have seen the exhibition downstairs, and if not, hopefully you will by the end of the evening. We have 3 galleries, 200 objects, 30 lenders from across the world on the subject of art from the royal courts of India. There are objects that are the expected types of things you would see at an exhibition on Indian art, and then there is unexpected stuff like Art Deco furniture. The objects are in all different types of scale. The smallest one is a pair of earrings or a seal ring, and the largest one is an enormous painting or a carriage. Again, most of the objects are the types of things you see very carefully and spend time with, but I'm going to be talking about just a little bit of the sneak peek or behind the scenes of what it really takes to put these exhibitions up. About a month before it opens, and the process of planning is usually 3 to 5 years in advance, depending on the scale of the project. But a month at least in advance, it just starts going crazy. This is what the spaces look like, work sites. Objects start coming in these large crates. We're busy taking down walls, putting up new walls, starting to paint. All painting has to be done before we can open a single crate because we don't want any off-gassing near the art. Lots of people are involved in the process. Objects get opened up, and what you're seeing here is just about a third of the pieces, individual components that make up a pair of crystal end tables that are in the galleries. What you don't see here are about 50 little hanging crystals that had to be put up manually. So these things get unpacked, they get condition checked, which means that we have to make sure that they arrive to their destination in the same condition that they left their previous destination. So conservators, they're the people who are the scientists by training, are looking at every object very carefully. And then we start putting things together. This is a display of a throne room setting in the first gallery. And we work with work lights, and there's lots of plastic in drill machines and people crawling all over in ungainly positions. Every step of the way, there are designated people and specifically qualified people to handle art. I'll share with you a few specific examples of the types of objects that gave me gray hair and several sleepless nights, and this carriage was one of them. If you've seen it downstairs, you will know it's big. The public library, when they built this building, they were not really thinking very clearly and thinking about art coming in and big art. So we couldn't get this carriage through the door or the windows, through the door of freight elevators. It's in this huge crate, which from this image is hard to see. But the only way it could come in was by taking down a wall of windows that you don't see right now. And luckily for us, the crate was just shy of the window opening because had it been even like 6 inches larger or a foot larger, we would have had bigger trouble. The carriage also has textiles and leather, so it's got silk fabric inside and leather on top, and this wall of windows brings in a lot of light. Textiles and leather fade very quickly, so we have to protect it from light, and so this enormous scrim was put behind to do that. But the carriage is gorgeous. It was made in 1915 for a ruler in the western state of Gujarat in India. As you can see, it's got lots of decoration. Gorgeous decoration, but if you notice, it's also three-dimensional and in relief, which means there are lots of cracks and and lots of spaces where it gets tarnished. So a conservator spent many, many hours in over a several-week process to clean those spaces with a Q-tip so that all of the buildup of tarnish could be removed. She was extremely happy when she could actually use a rag, which she was doing in this picture. And it was a long process. The other thing that gave us fun or grief was installing this large bridal costume. It was worn by a princess. It's been worn only one time, princess of the Central Indian Kingdom of Hyderabad. And it's beautiful, but extremely heavy and very laborious to pull together. So we have two textile conservators and it took them an entire day. And you can see from the papers that are on the table, this came in lots of parts that had to be very specifically folded and turned so that the fabric would not get damaged. It's an old textile, so you have to be careful. And just to get the dupatta or the veil over the mannequin's shoulder took, it's hard to see from here, but I'm counting 8 people who had to just lift the roll on which this veil was suspended, and in order to lift it over the mannequin's shoulder. I can't imagine the bride who wore this. She was clearly not going in for a first dance. The other one was a very large painting, and this painting is about 20-some feet wide. And it's so big that it does not travel framed. It comes on a roll, and its frame comes apart. The frame is heavy solid wood carved, and it took quite a few people to put this up against the wall. We got it up the first time, only to find out that it wasn't stretched tightly enough. So all these people had to bring the painting down, re-stretch it, push it back up, and what you're seeing here is the process of securing that painting to a metal shelf that's beneath it so that it wouldn't just bring the entire wall down. There were 2 people up on a lift just holding it up from the top, and others who were busy screwing it in. So with that background, I invite you to go see the show, and as you see it, remember that it isn't always as beautiful as it looks. Thank you.
Excellent.